All right. I just want to check one thing. Dun, dun. I need to figure out how to do an intro video so that while it's loading, we're good to go. All right, I think we're live. So thank you, Ashley, for jumping on a little bit early today. Apparently, if you are from New York and have an Android phone, you do not belong on my broadcast this morning at 10:30. So I appreciate you jumping on, filling in for Luke right now, and we will be getting Luke on here later today. So Ashley Maharas, the wonderful wife of Mr. Mike Maharas, and it's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Super excited to be on. Lucky I'm not on the East Coast. We're in Minnesota, so we seem to know our times pretty well over here or something, but here, so that's great.
So how much snow do you have out there right now?
Well, today starts the great melt. So we had a lot of snow dump on us these last couple of weeks, and we have probably about a foot remaining still out there. But we are going to hit 40 today, so we're going to see some melting happen. I know it's going to be hot. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of shorts out there today. So, but 70s on Tuesday, so the snow can't stick around after that. So our season officially is going to begin on Monday, which we're really pumped about.
That's awesome. So you're getting excited for 40, and we're I think 80 right now. We're getting a little bit of rain coming this week, but no thanks. You can keep that weather out there.
Well, it's pretty. It's pretty in the wintertime. It makes those Christmas lights sparkle a little bit brighter.
It does make a difference with snow when it's clean, but when it covers all the lights, then it's not fun.
No. As soon as January hits too, it's like, yep, ready to be done or move to Florida. One of the two.
That's awesome. Well, I've got my Wash Masters hoodie on. This is one of my favorites to wear, especially when I'm working out. So I appreciate the swag. You guys are awesome.
You're welcome.
And we just got done talking to Mike the other day, and we talked about Wash Masters, the company, the culture, your core values with SOAP. I love that acronym for your core values. And what I would like to talk about with you today is the flip side of that is the home life, the home life balance, the balance between the kids, the balance between you and Mike, and how do you guys separate that? Because obviously you're both in the company, correct?
Definitely. Yep. So from the very beginning, me and Mike have been doing this together. When we first started Wash Masters, it was both of us in the field. So it was just me and him. We didn't have employees. We were cleaning windows at that time. And then slowly but surely, we started hiring our first employees and growing from there. And it's been a challenge because, when you work together and live together, as you can imagine, it's not easy if you have some fights at work during the day, and then it's hard to keep it together when you come home at night for the kids. But as far as like with the kids and stuff, when we first started this, they were by far our biggest cheerleaders, which was so empowering. And like, it just made you feel like you could do anything. As time went on though, we struggled. There was times where we were getting too buried in the work, and all of a sudden the kids, you could tell that they were falling out of love with Wash Masters, which was causing us to fall out of love with the Wash Masters. But, as being an entrepreneur, it's all in your own hands. So we started hiring and it started feeling better. And every day that goes on, it feels better and better. And me and Mike's relationship from the beginning to now is like, if we wouldn't have ran a business together, we'd never be as close as we are now. Our marriage would never be as strong as it is now. So it's been great for our family because we worked on the issues as they're coming up.
All right. So first question is, how old are your kids? Names and ages?
We have Mackenzie. She's our firstborn. She is going to be 13 this year. And then we have in May actually. And then we have two twins and they're 9 and they're turning 10 here in May as well. So they're getting bigger.
So we're identical because I have a 13. Nixie just turned 13 while we're in Italy, and Annie, she's 10. So we're right in line with all the same experiences and that stuff. So I understand the 13, the teenage years coming up, and it's definitely fun seeing her blossom and change, like everything. Just the transformation from a year and a half ago to today. Like we talked about the other night, I was like, Nixie, this was you a year and a half ago, August. And this is you today. She's like, oh my God. It's insane.
Especially at those ages. Yeah, they grow overnight, like mentally, physically, all of it. It's like all of a sudden they're just little adults running around and they're your best friends and the best friends that you have to wag your finger at, of course. But Yeah, no, it's great. I feel really, really close with my kids, and I feel like our business life has allowed us to be even closer because of that. But
And that's incredible. It's important to be able to focus on that, and recognize it, the struggles, because like you said, first they're your cheerleaders and then they start resenting a little bit. So then it's just like, how do you figure that out? Because they need to understand that because of this business allows you the freedom to do the things that you're able to do now. But at the same time, you got to figure out what's enough to take home and what's enough to keep at work and things like that. And I'll never forget 4 years ago on the boat, I think it was like a Tuesday or Wednesday with the kids and my ex-wife, and my kids we had to leave early. We had to go because I had to go to work. And whether or not I really had to go to work, I wanted to go to work at that point. And they said to me, "Daddy, you work too much." And that like crushed me. It's like, wasn't thinking like they were thinking. And I was just thinking, I just gotta go hustle, gotta get everything done, gotta provide, gotta keep everybody busy. And I probably could have pushed that off a day or a couple hours and spent more time out there with them. So that was like really the catalyst for me to say, you need to slow down. Like, yes, you think you're doing everything you need to for your family, but they're only 10 once, they're only 12 once, and you're not going to get that back ever. You can get that job pushed to another day. You can answer that phone call later, but you can't get that time back with your kids. And it's really important as entrepreneurs that you recognize that, because you don't want your kids growing up resenting it, and then they're just going to hate the entrepreneurship world, and then they want nothing to do with it at all. So
no, yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. And that it was a similar thing for me. When we'd be out in the field all day, I'd come home and I'd have all that office work left. So I'd go straight to that office and I would stay in there until the kids would like go to bed. And there would be time, I'd come out for dinner and whatnot, but like definitely too, my youngest daughter, Avery, she'd come in and she'd talk to me about it, or she'd want to have my kids in general, like they'd come and sit on the other side of the desk, and they'd want to sit in there with me and we'd have conversations while I worked. But at the same time, you could tell it was sad for them because they were coming to me and I wasn't always coming to them. So I really needed to make that switch fast, because they too, like your kid said, you're working too much, Mom. All you do is work. And I tried to justify it with, but I need to work. We need to pay for this house and pay for your food and pay for your sports and all of the things that you're doing. And but it's not necessarily what they wanted. They wanted me. So
yeah, they wanted a mom, not a business partner.
Yeah, exactly. So we really had to start putting in some boundaries, and now we have a very harsh stop. 5 o'clock comes and, we're shutting down except for maybe in an emergency situation. And even in those emergency situations, we can bring our kids along. Like there's so many times I bring my kids to the shop with me and they help fold towels and they get to interact with the team and they have their favorite team members because, they just know them. And it's almost like, it's like they're cousins, or not so much their brothers and sisters because they're not that close to them yet, but we're just one big family, and that just feels good and it feels right.
Yes, and that's important, because one, you want to get them involved young and very early so they can understand it and see it and know what you're doing. It's, if you're doing that 9 to 5 and working a corporate or someplace else for somebody else, you can't just involve your kids like that. And it's fun to be able to bring them in there and have them form a relationship with the team as well. I know the girls, like, they love going to work. Every day after I pick them up to work, or school, they're like, "Daddy, we going to the office?" And if I say yes, they get really excited. If I say no, they're like, "Oh man," because they'll go there. They get excited. The office staff loves them. I mean, Liz, she's always like a cheerleader for them. As soon as they come to the door, so excited. "Tell me about your day," and all those things. They'll leave notes on computer desks for people, and it's just fun to get them involved. And the crew and the staff love them too. I hope they do. At least they act like they do. But I remember one day during Christmas light season, I took them out of school in the morning to go make breakfast for everybody. And it was really important that I did that because I want the team to know that, we are a family and we're all in this together. And I wanted the kids to do something too. So we brought them in. I was making breakfast and they were like the little servers. They're going around taking the food orders and then putting it out there. And then I make the plates and then they go serve it to them, because we want our team to know that, we're there to serve them too as well.
Yes, that's a great idea. I'd love to actually use that one too. We should do that and have our kids serve the team. That is that's huge. It's a great way to get your kids involved and get them supporting Washmasters. So like our son, for an example, on his birthday, he loves to come to work. Like he's like, "Can I skip school?" He came one time and he washed screens and stuff at a house. And like we have the little picture of him with the big gloves and trying to hold the big screen. And it's the cutest thing ever when they do want to be involved in that. And I love it. So I agree.
So for anybody watching right now, Wash Masters, go ahead and if you're an entrepreneur, you got kids and you got them involved, just comment below. Comment some things that you're doing because it's fun to be able to get in there. Any team activities you can do, it's just really important for the kids and for the team to get them involved.
Something we did too, JC. I have to give a shout out to like Josh Latimer and their family and Ashley, and like they had shared that instead of just doing an employee of the month with their team, they do it at their house as well. But we stole that idea too. And so like that's kind of another way we love to bring the kids and get them involved is we do similar things that with them that we do with the team. And then they kind of understand that dynamic and they get excited about that stuff. But
I like that because we do Rockstar of the Month and every month we do it at the office. So I think Liz, if you're watching, and we do it in May for April, we'll do a family bowling night or something and we'll present it there. That's incredible. Great idea. So Rockstar. All right. See, that's why we talk.
Yeah, right.
All right. So we talked about the kids. Let me see. I got some questions here. So we talked about the balance and so how involved are the kids with the business? And, with mine in the beginning, they were kind of happy, but then they're like, Dad, I don't really want to deal with any of this stuff. I want to go do my own thing. And I don't want to force it upon them saying, no, you have to be an entrepreneur because then they're going to hate it even more. And over the last year or so, they enjoy it a little bit more. They're still not sold on it. Obviously Annie wants to be a waitress and a doctor, I think, and have a college dorm with 3 roommates or something like that. I'm like, but you can take this on. She's like, no, Dad, I don't want that. So how are you getting them involved? And you talked about the ebb and flow of them reacting to the company, but how are they right now with the stages?
So right now, I think they're satisfied with the company, but they also, their dream is not to work at Washmasters. That's not anything that none of them have said that. They all have their own goals. And what the greatest thing is, though, is as we are pursuing our goal, it almost gives them that liberty to go and pursue theirs. Like, I've stayed a lot in like my own comfort zone for a long time, and I'm not as an outgoing person, not that great of a communicator, and I loved living in my little alone world kind of a thing. But the more my kids and my daughter has really watched me, so she kind of I felt like was starting to become that as well. But now since like the past year, I've been trying to like really push myself and really grow from that. And she's watching me, and she's seeing everything I do. And all of a sudden I'm seeing her grow and her push herself and her joining things she normally wouldn't do or reach out to people that she wouldn't or say things that she normally wouldn't say. So I think just in that sense is, yes, they're probably not going to work at Washmasters, but what they are getting are those values that we're growing at Washmasters. And they're going to take those and get to bring them into whatever they decide to do.
I love that. That's incredible. Yeah. And be able to be the example, the role model for them. And that's why it's important that when you do come home, you're not taking your work home with you, that stress, because then if they see that stress constantly, then it just relates to being an entrepreneur is stress and I don't want this and I want to find something easy. And we all know being an entrepreneur is not easy, but the freedom that we get from it is incredible. And that just speaks volumes once you start doing it. So
yes, totally.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So let's see here. So we talked about the kids coming in there and they positively impacted the business, which I really love. You said your son comes in there. I believe you said he came in full of the towels. And you guys, when I came out to visit you guys, you were on vacation. You were camping.
That's right. Yep.
So what else are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, we love fitting in those little camping trips. So we got our camper. We made a push, not last year, but the year before. We probably couldn't really afford it, but we were like, you know what? Now's the time. If our kids aren't going to want to camp forever, they're going to hit teenage years and they're not going to really want to do that stuff. So it was like, we have to do it now. Prior to that, we used to do like tent camping, which is fun. I think for me and Mike, it would probably be easier. But once you start throwing, 5 people in a tent, it doesn't seem to run so smooth.
Yeah.
So we definitely had to upgrade to the camper in order to keep the kids invested in that. And it's been really fun. But we also, just outside of camping. So when you came, for an example, we just did a camping trip that was like 20 minutes from our house. So it didn't have to be anything big or huge or, special to be special for the kids, which they really loved. And then we even could go to work still, which was great. So we could kind of fit that balance in there. But like now we actually have started, I have a board over here, a whiteboard, but this year was the first time we've really, I feel like, started to plan our goals and our dreams. And, you know, although we've been doing that a lot with the business and a little bit with the family, like we really want to push the vision for the family, because I had the question asked to me the other day, like we said, like our 10-year target is $10 million. And someone's like, why, you know? And, you know, you get that question a lot in this industry. And I kind of thought I had my why. And, but I didn't really know. And I crumbled under the question. And I was like, and I just spent so many days and weeks after that thinking about that. And it was like, it's time, you know, it's time to discover my why. And I put one thing up on that board and I said, I want to go and travel for a year straight. Like, I don't want to come home. I just want to I want to leave our house, not know where we're going, and just go travel for a year. So that vision alone, it was like, it just sparked something. It was like, I feel good again. Like, I know what I'm working for. Like, let's do this. Like, let's dive in this season. And like, it's just a new energy that it's brought. So
is Mike going on that trip, or is it just you and the kids?
We'll see how he does this year.
No, I love that, because some people might like look at that as like, that's an outrageous goal. Like, you want to just pack up everything and leave for a year. And you're looking at it as like, no, this is an attainable goal, because we're building the company right now. We're building the systems in place. We're building the foundation for everything so that we can leave, everything still be successful without us, and we can cherish the moments with our kids, because again, they're only young once, and you're not going to get that time back. They're not going to want to do it when you're 25 or they're 25 years old.
No.
So
unless, of course, you may be, I'm thinking if we build the habit of it now, when they're 25 years old, they might still like me enough to come on with me again. So we'll see.
We're hopeful, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So like you said, the camping, like when you do things with the kids, it doesn't have to be this glamorous 7-day Disney vacation things. Like, those are my favorite trips, actually, is when we do the tent camping. I got an old military trailer with a rooftop tent on it. And those are probably my favorite trips with the kids, like 2-3 days in the woods, no electricity, no running water. We just go there and set up. We shoot BB guns. We got the hammocks out there, make campfires, s'mores, dance around. I got video one year when we went, and the girls had these, like, I don't know, they weren't like those necklaces that glows, but she had something that she was like spinning around, and you could see the lights at night. All the lights were out, and we spent an hour just sitting there laughing, just playing music. They're like, Daddy, you do it. And it was the stupidest thing that I was doing, but I was just having so much fun with them. It was just, nothing else mattered at that moment other than smiling and enjoying the moment with the kids. We were unplugged and just happy as can be. So these vacations don't need to be, you know, thousands of dollars planned out for years ahead. It could just be something small. It could be a day trip. It could be anything, but it's just, we got to do them and not say we'll do it tomorrow. And, you know, Jason Evers, I think it was 2 years ago, it might've been 3. He did a post about his daughter and how he would find himself saying no anytime they wanted to do something. They wanted to go on the jet ski. They wanted to go for a walk. And, you know, he kept talking about the time, and you lose that time every time you say no. And what is really important at that moment for you to be able to say no. So, you know, that resonated with me. So when the kids say, I want to go, like yesterday, I could not even function. I was just so exhausted. But Nixie's like, Dad, do you want to go for a walk? I did not want to go for a walk, but I said, let's go. And we got out there and we were just laughing. We were swinging from the vines, pulling trees down. And it was the best 20 minutes of the day yesterday. And had I just like succumbed to just saying no, I never would have had that memory with them.
It's so true. That's so true. It's always the things that you think that aren't going to bring you, like you think that what you needed was to go lay on the couch and like regroup or get rid of your stress. But it's like, it's those stuff that actually gets you back on in the swing of things. So no, I couldn't agree more. It's that same kind of thing with us is, the more we do spend time with the kids and the more we fully unplug. And I think that's really the key too, is because you could go on that camping trip and you could sit in that chair and sit on your phone the entire time and miss completely the mark on what you're out there to do. So the key is really to be fully present and mindful of what's going on.
Yep, be intentional. And, you know, I'm guilty. We go to the restaurants, we'll sit there on the phone, then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what are we doing? I grab everybody's phones, I stack them on top of each other, face them down, and then we just talk. And it could be anything. We play scavenger hunts on the menu. You got to find a word, and then the other person has to find it. So it's just, it doesn't have to be this big, elaborate plan. Just do something, have fun, smile, and focus on each other, because you're not going to have it. So every time I see you and Mike, you guys are always smiling. Like, you guys make me smile, whether it's at Nashville, whether it's on Facebook. When I was out with you guys, like, you guys are just incredible. I love what you've done. And I know it hasn't always been unicorn and glitter and happiness and things like that. So what are some things that you have done as a couple to focus on each other and be able to separate that balance?
Focus on each other.
Because I'm sure we have a lot of entrepreneurs here that are working with their spouses. And I know for me, back when I was married, it was hard. It just didn't work out. It doesn't work out for everybody. As much as you want to make it work out, sometimes it's easier to say it's not. But you guys, from what I see, have figured that out, because you're just like, you're always glowing. And I love seeing the two of you. And I look forward to seeing you guys in Nashville soon, hopefully.
Yeah. So if you know me and Mike well, which I think you do, we complement each other really well, in the sense of we are night and day different. We are so different. We couldn't be more different. But that's helped us in our business at least kind of divide our responsibilities, and then stay in our own lanes, which has kind of helped a little bit. However, that's not always the case, right? And especially even our differences, it does tend to actually bring us to argue a lot too. And just kind of, we've had to really learn how to successfully argue and communicate, and not, say things that we don't mean, or, you got to just be careful again with what words you're using in the business, and then leaving the business where it belongs, which is something we don't do well. So there is many times where that's our conversations. We go out on a date night and I'm like, all right, tonight, I just can't talk about work. Let's not talk about work. And like 5 minutes after I say that, we're in an in-depth conversation about work, looking at the issue. So it's not as easy as saying like, oh, well, we just, personal time's personal and work is work. But because between us, there is a lot of business, a lot of work, but it's also what has slowly but surely made us really special, because like most teams don't get to spend that kind of time together. Most people don't get to work on their business as much as we get to work on our business together, and then work on the way we talk about our business, and the way we communicate, and the way we parent our children, and all of that stuff. So it's like, we are constantly working on it. So I guess I'm glad to know that we're making progress.
Yeah, no, that's recognizing it, constant communication, because it's going to be ebb and flow. Well, one day you're going to be up and he's going to be down. So you need to be the cheerleader, and then vice versa. He needs to be there for you, and just be able to appreciate that, and know when, all right, maybe we shouldn't talk about this. Let's just put this on sidebar for later on.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is true too, is, we had to kind of get to that place of, for one, feelings aren't facts. Like, just because you feel really strongly about it doesn't mean it's a fact. And if the conversation is getting heated, it is a matter of just shelving that, moving forward, and then not continuing to argue about something that you're not going to come to a conclusion on.
I like that. Feelings aren't facts. That's powerful. I like that. So who's the visionary? Who's the integrator?
Michael would be our visionary, and I would be that integrator.
So are you the strict one of the house?
Yeah, I'm definitely the one that likes probably the most control. However, Mike is the one that's really good at dancing and like talking and, coaching and doing all that stuff. So again, we work really well together, but I'm definitely the one that wants to see how everything works together, and how I can make it flow better together, how we can not have to do it manually and automate it, or whatever it is to make that process easier. It's something I really enjoy doing. Besides for the financial side of it, I think the financial side is probably my favorite. But at the same time, I think personal growth wise has been my favorite in general with owning a business. But
all right, so just going back to your 1 year travel trip, do you have a timeline for that? A goal?
I did put on my long-term vision board, so it's probably going to be in like the next 5 years is what we're going to look for.
Okay. Are we going to Europe, Asia? Where are we going?
We're definitely going to go to Europe, but we're going to go everywhere. Yeah, we'll check out so many different places. There'll be a lot of checking boxes. I have not traveled a ton in my life. I was born in Germany, so I was born on an army base. My dad was in the army, but
Nice.
That was my first travel. But then I didn't travel again out of Minnesota really until I was 18. So it was like I never really got those opportunities, and then had kids pretty young, been to only really Florida. Like I can count how many places I've been. So it's like I just need to go and like see things and see everything, right?
Yeah, there's so much out there. When I was in Italy with the kids, it's just incredible, the culture difference, the people, the food. just how much history is out there that we just neglect. And, some people just rather go to Myrtle Beach when I'd rather go overseas and actually find some history and explore new things. So that's incredible. I'm excited. I'm rooting for you. We got there on the long-term goal. And let's talk industry events real quick. In the past, have you taken your kids with you? Have you found that to be a struggle while both trying to attend them and the kids being there? What are you finding?
We have not taken them to an industry event, and mostly because we felt like we couldn't really leave them alone for, long periods of time. However, this is the year where we want to do that. We want to bring our kids, we want to bring our staff, like we want to show up as, with our entourage kind of a thing. And I guess make our space in those conferences as well. And then just letting our kids and our team members and stuff experience that and grow with us. But yeah, we've been thinking about that, especially as like other people are bringing their kids. I know you bring your daughters and stuff to those. I mean, it would just be super fun. The more people that bring their kids, and then our kids can all hang out and do things together and make it really a fun experience for them too.
Yeah, because then they get to hang out with other entrepreneur families, because for the most part, all their friends here, their mom and dad, they're working the 9 to 5. So they don't understand like why dad is out doing this all day or working all night or on the computer till whenever, while their friends are, they check out at 9 to 5, and it's great. It's good for them, but that's just not the life that we want to live, because we understand the freedom that we get from that. So to be able to build a relationship with other kids, they can connect with them like, oh, wait, maybe we are normal, So
yes. Yeah, no, I think they would have a blast together. They probably have more fun than us, and I know we all have a lot of fun. So
yeah, last year at the Huge, they had a blast, and I just let them go do what they wanted. They knew where they had to go, or where they couldn't go. They had the phone on them, and I just let them be free and just let them be kids. And they went around collecting candy from all the booths, getting swag, T-shirts, and everybody's like, "Are those your 2 daughters walking around?" I was like, "Yeah." And it's just freeing for them to be able to just go and just not, I mean, they had rules, but they're just able to do whatever they want and enjoy themselves and appreciate the time that they had there.
Well, and what a perfect hotel to do it, right? The Gaylord Opryland. It's like you couldn't have a better hotel for a kid to wander. Like,
no, absolutely. And I think my dad took him to the water park one day too. I wish I could have gone there and been a kid for a day, but that looked like a lot of fun. We should be taking them, or I should be taking them back this year. I thought we were going to miss out because of school, but I think school's actually a week later because they moved the event to a week later. So I'd love to get connected with other entrepreneur families bringing their kids out there. It'd be great to get them all involved. I know that is a struggle though with the entrepreneur families trying to bring kids, because then you got to figure out who's watching the kids, who's attending the shows, and vice versa. So I think it's something that we should work on as a whole to be able to figure something out, to be able to incorporate more families.
Hey, my daughter would love to babysit. So anybody who's interested at the next one, I'll bring her. She'll babysit.
There we go. We'll go rent a room out and have the kids babysit, and we'll just charge like $100 an hour.
Exactly. It'd be fun.
All right. So what do you guys have coming up with Washmasters and yourself? Family vacations coming up in the near future.
So Washmasters, we just hired our first office manager.
Oh, that's such a good hire.
We're really, really excited about it. We're pretty confident that if we don't have her this year, we weren't going to be able to get to our goals. So it was time to free up some time so we could get more time back with the family. I think last year we took a different approach. We were like, we're just going to do as many things as we can and we'll just get it all done. We found out very quickly that a lot of things weren't getting done, and we just needed more help. So we're in that place now where we're thinking more like hire instead of do. So that's the stage we're in. We're going to hire that office manager. We brought on a VA. We're looking at hiring an ops manager yet later on this season. So hopefully just, doing big things that way and growing a leadership team. We do have our crew leads and stuff who have done a really great job of being leaders. So they might take on some of those higher positions too, which could be really cool to see them grow.
I can't wait to hear the how freeing it is once you get that office manager in. That's like one of the most important hires for a small business as they start hiring employees, because getting off that phone, the emails, the invoicing, all that stuff, it is just so freeing to be able to focus on the higher level things. So I know once you get that in there, you're really going to start to explode and be able to focus on those systems you're talking about and dive deep into the things that you want to focus on. Mm-hmm. Not Miss Mary. Yes, the team will be there. So awesome.
It gives you time to think and be creative too, right? It's like when you get buried in those day-to-day tedious things like I have been for so long, it's hard to even to think outside of those things. It's like I'm still just worried about getting that one thing out or doing that one little thing, and I got to check that box. And it's hard to think at a high level if you're down here in those little things. So
because then you got multiple tasks getting 10%, 30%, 40%. Now you can focus 90, 80, 100% on the high level tasks. So awesome. And any vacations planned with the kids?
Vacations, we do have our first camping trip coming up, which is Memorial Weekend. We're going to be up by a nice lake up north, in Gull Lake it's called, with family and stuff. So that will be our first trip to kick it off. We have a bunch planned this year too. There's an awesome camping trip we do every summer with some friends, and we go. They have a water park and everything at this camping. It's like very glamping, not so much camping, but it's my favorite campground probably for those reasons. They actually have nice bathrooms and stuff, but. We'll spend all day at the water park. We do plan on, right now our whole family's learning Spanish. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, we all downloaded the Duolingo app, and it's funny because all of a sudden you'll hear somebody in the house like on it, like you'll hear the little chimes. And so then everyone else wants to go get on it and like, we're all like kind of competing. But our goal is to go on a family trip to Mexico. So probably this next off season we'll all hopefully know Spanish, and we'll be down there talking Spanish to the locals and using our new skills.
Cerveza, that's about all I know. And yo quiero Taco Bell. That's not going to get me too far, but at least I'll be fed and thirsty or quenched.
There you go. Airport Porto, Mike. Is that what it was? Like, you need to know that one to find that. Passporte.
All right. So, final question. Speaking of food, if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, one meal. Macaroni and cheese. Easy.
Ooh.
Done. Okay, I'm going to get fat, though, so that's going to be a bummer. But that is by far, it's so weird, but like, that was my favorite meal as a kid. When my kids were born, I was super excited about it because I felt like I got to eat mac and cheese again. But my kids hated it. Like, they wouldn't eat it. And I was like forcing mac and cheese. And I was like, okay, well now not nobody really eats mac and cheese. So I'd probably eat that just because I haven't had it for a while. And
now, are you the dry powder, the squeezable, or homemade?
I'll do it all. Take anyway.
I like I don't like the dry powder one. It always tends to be too liquidy and just not enough cheese in there. So, but the kids just prefer that.
Extra cheese maybe in there or something.
Yeah. All right, Ashley, I thank you so much for being on. I cannot wait to see you and Mike again out in hopefully Nashville, if not definitely the Huge this year. Thank you for taking your time out of the day and talking all things family and life and relationships. And any departing words?
I just want to say thank you for having me on. You look great in that sweatshirt. Also, I think you're doing a great job. What you have done here on Facebook and watching you has been extremely inspiring for myself. So keep doing what you're doing. I really appreciate you having me on.
Well, I appreciate you so much, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.